Are you ready to finally break free from overwhelm, procrastination, and burnout? If you're ready to focus on what truly matters and create momentum to reach and exceed your goals in business and in life, then this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Efficiency Advantage, the podcast where clarity meets action and purpose that fuels your progress. So here's world-class productivity expert and your host, Coach Juli.
Welcome back to the Efficiency Advantage. I'm Coach Juli Shulem, and today's episode, we are going to talk a little bit more about clearing clutter for good and getting your environment organized. So if you listen to last week's episode, this will dovetail on it quite nicely. So I didn't want to leave you hanging as to how to go about doing all this. So today I'm going to share the details of how to actually go through the process of decluttering. Now, to backtrack a little bit, just want to remind you, you cannot expect to achieve effective time management in a messy place. You need to clean things up a bit. This means clearing clutter, creating a place for everything, having structure, organization, setting up the right systems for the things that you've got and are going to keep and will use, and being able to admire the top surface of your desk again. So, regarding your office space, here's a little trick you can do, or it can be for any area actually, but this is something that if you're not certain as to really how to go about doing this or what needs to be worked on, here's a little trick. Go outside your office. So let's say this is your work office. Go outside your office and walk into it as if you were your best client. Now, this can be a little scary because you will see things you never saw before. I challenge you to go ahead and try this. It really is amazing. I did this with an attorney many years ago because he wasn't really seeing what everyone else did upon walking into his office. So I had him step outside and I talked him through it. And I said, okay, you are your best client walking into your office. Go ahead. And he walked in with a new set of eyes. And quite honestly, he was shocked. He noticed piles of paper stuffed in a corner, things underneath his desk he really wasn't even aware were there. He had trash that hadn't been taken out for far too long, scraps of paper that were just strewn around. He even had glasses of half filled with beverages that never made it out of the area and cleaned up. And just things strewn all over the place, stuff over his chair back and everything. The list goes on. This was embarrassing for him. He didn't really notice how bad it was and the impact and impression that he was making when people saw this. Now, we can equate that to your background in your environment when you are on a screen. If you don't have a virtual background and you can't show that your space is neat and tidy, well, that's not going to really look too good on you. So you want to be able to have your office space cleared so that when you are needing to have someone there, or just to be able to do your own work and be able to find things that you want to find, you can do that. And you can do it quickly. I'll give you a quick little tip, a rule of thumb. You should be able to find any document or information that you're looking for within 10 seconds. Yeah, and put it away in the same. So if you can't access things in just a few seconds, you don't have a system. You have a bit of a mess. So here's what I'm going to help you with, because we want to help make sure that you have the best chance of being as productive and efficient as you possibly can. And clutter keeps us from accomplishing our high priorities and from being organized and efficient. So this is why you may feel frustration day after day when you're trying to work in an area that is just not working for you. So, aside from the fact that you may not be able to find things and you're losing time, wasting money, and disappointing team members by not being able to get the information and the materials that you need, a messy or cluttered environment can also inhibit your creativity and really prevent you from having a nice, relaxing, harmonious work and home environment and life. So, if you have an office in your home, it's necessary to make sure that your workspace is functional. And this starts by making all the spaces that you live and work in efficient. All right, so I'm going to give you some little tidbit points, I should say, on how to go through various cupboards and cabinets and drawers and storage areas and whatever you've got in your world. A lot of times people, I find, don't know when to throw something out or get rid of it, either donate it or put it in the garbage, give it to somebody else that could benefit from it. So a few things to think about when you are deciding if you should throw something out. Well, first of all, if you don't like it, okay, why would you keep something you don't even like? If you're not going to use it again and it's not fulfilling any purpose or need in your life, clearly that thing can go. Now, if you have something and you've never used it and you keep holding on to it year after year, thinking someday is not going to come, people. Okay. It's very rare that you automatically think of that thing that you have that you haven't ever used and you know exactly where it is and you're going to go get that thing right in the moment and yay, you're going to go ahead and use it. Chances are by the time you are ready to use it, it's obsolete. So if you've never used it, you don't see a need for it in the next few months, year, your lifetime, let it go. Now, if you have something and you have forgotten what it does or that you still even had it, yeah, that can go too. Oh, here's one of my favorites. If it's old, ugly, not working, out of style, out of date, or inefficient, yeah, that can go. If you own another better one, maybe you have one that isn't working so great, and then you got a better model, a new updated one, and that one does its job. Great. You don't need to keep the other one. You can let that go. If you want it, if it still works, you want to donate it, that's great. Give it to an organization where somebody who can't afford another one can get it and use it. That's awesome. Now, many times people hold on to things because they're afraid that if they let it go, they might need it again. Well, if you can get it another time, you can throw it out. Is the likelihood of you needing it is probably small. So if you haven't used it and you can get another one easily, should you ever need it at some point, you can let it go. Now, I also use a time frame of a year. If you haven't used it over the course of a year, and let's say you're in a place where you have seasons and you've gone through all the seasons and that thing is still not used, you've never worn it, you've never used it, you've never had to do anything with it, yeah, that can probably go. And then here's my all-time favorite. If it's something that makes you feel bad, stupid, ugly, or guilty, get rid of it. Why are you holding onto something that ultimately makes you feel awful? Now, if it's something that someone gave you and you haven't really used it, you don't really like it or want it, but you feel bad if you get rid of it, you know what? Take a picture of it. Take a picture of it. You got the memory of it, and let someone else who will actually use it enjoy it. Let it go. Move it on. All right. Now, when you should keep something, here's some things along those lines. obviously, if you're going to use it. If you're going to use it, then keep it. If it has legal implications, so tax returns and various documents that you may need to actually keep because there is some legal ramification if you don't, or financial. Okay, so there are certain things, and that's a whole discussion. So and it changes periodically. So that's something you can go online and find out what are the things, the kinds of papers actually that you really should be keeping. And there is a good list. So go ahead and find out. If you have something that holds a very fond memory for you, that's okay. That's great. Hold on to it. And that's something that makes you happy, brings you joy. Good. Keep it. If it's something that you use for special occasions or events that you will use again, absolutely. So if it's something, maybe I have people who, they go skiing once a year and they have their ski equipment. Well, yes, keep it as long as it's still working. Of course, keep things that you will use again. Just make sure that they're stored away properly and they're not sitting in your living room all year long. Now, if you have something whereby if you throw it out and you needed it, but you could not replace it and it has a purpose, yeah, then you might want to hold on to that. Okay. So these are just some basic guidelines so that you can attack the various areas of clutter in your home. So I'm going to give you a really simple method, which I'm going to describe by going through a drawer. Doesn't matter what's in the drawer. Let's use a junk drawer because those are so fun to go through, right? Everyone's got the junk drawer in their kitchen area or somewhere in the main living space. I haven't found a home yet that doesn't have the official junk drawer, but the junk drawer shouldn't be filled with clutter. It should have things in it that don't really have another home. They are one-off kinds of items. But you need to go through it periodically because it can tend to get cluttered pretty quickly, as you are probably well aware. So I'm going to explain how to go through a drawer of any sort. And this applies to a closet, a cupboard, a desktop, a tabletop, any area where you've got stuff you haven't really addressed lately. But the process is actually quite simple. And I'm going to tell you why. So, well, first I'm going to tell you how. So the first thing you're going to do, let's say you've got this drawer and you haven't looked at that stuff in a very long time. Have a surface of some sort. I often bring in a card table or some other kind of a table so that I can lay things out and I have a space to work with. So you're going to want to take everything out of the drawer, all of it. You dump it out or take it out carefully, depending upon how breakable the things in it are. And then you're going to make sure that the drawer is organized in such a way that if you need little containers in it, there are plenty of options that you can find online, the Container Store, Target, various places where you can get the Rubbermaid little drawer inserts for drawers. And there are other items you can get to organize other kinds of spaces. There's myriad options. So first, you're going to just take everything out. And you can organize your drawer if you want, or maybe you just want to keep things in it the way that it was. That's completely up to you. But here's the secret. You're going to want to put things back in the drawer that you're going to keep. So this is very different than taking things out you're going to get rid of. Because psychologically, you will feel a lot more comfortable putting things in you're going to stick with and keep in your life versus being told or feeling like you have to take things and throw them away. So you're only going to put back the things that you need and or want, and they have a purpose. The stuff that doesn't go back in the drawer, that's the stuff you get rid of because it didn't make the cut. It isn't needed. And you may find that some of it is just junk trash stuff that, oh, I meant to use that last time I did XYZ, but I had something else and did did it and it's over. So that thing can go. So when you are putting things back that you want to keep, it actually makes it much easier than feeling like you have to take things out and throw them away. Okay, it's kind of a little reverse process psychologically for you. This system applies to everything. I've helped clients with every kind of imaginable space that you can think of in both home and work environments. A difficult one for a lot of people are clothes. And we don't go through our clothes very often sometimes. If you take everything out in a category, for example, all short sleeve tops, okay, let's say you've just got too many. You pull them all out, lay them out on the bed. That's usually a good place to do that. It also forces you to get it done before you go to sleep that night. But this way, you can look and see everything you've got. Now, I do keep my clothes in color order by category. So all my short sleeve tops are together and they go in rainbow order. Same thing with my long sleeve tops, skirts and dresses and pants are all put together. And it just makes it easier. It's very easy to get dressed in the morning when you have your things laid out in a way that you can find exactly what you need. I dress by color and weather. So if it's cold, I'm going for the long sleeve shirts, tops, and I decide kind of a color I feel like wearing that day. And then get dressed from there. It makes it so much easier. Also, when it's time to go shopping, should you need some new garment, you know exactly what's missing in your wardrobe. You can see where you have a gap and you don't end up overbuying and spending money on something you really don't need. So this is a great process, is take everything out and then just put back what you want to keep. Okay, that is the end of how to go about really clearing the clutter for good and making it a more simple and gentle process. So I hope this helps you to get organized, because remember, when you are organized, you will be able to be much more clear in your thinking. You'll be more efficient and more productive, and you'll have less stress. At least that's what my clients have all experienced. All right, I'm going to say, have a wonderful and productive day. Please follow, share, and comment on the podcast. I love hearing your thoughts and how I can be of assistance and help to you. All right, have a great day.
So that's it for today's episode of The Efficiency Advantage. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, or wherever you listen and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will win a chance in the grand prize drawing to win a private VIP day with Coach Juli herself. Be sure to head on over to theefficiencyadvantage.com and pick up a free copy of Coach Juli's gift and join us on the next episode.